Hi everyone, in this little tutorial I'm going to show you how to make a monochromatic silhouette landscape. Now monochromatic refers to mono meaning one and chromatic meaning color, and silhouette being the outside or shape of the object, and of course we're going to do a landscape. So first thing we need to do is we need to go to Google and we need to find ourselves a picture of a silhouette of a mountain. So type in mountain silhouette. Okay, now the first thing I want you to be aware of is we need to find one that does not have any of these white and snow-capped mountains. Don't choose anything that has color changes in it, because we're going to do that ourselves with each layer that we do. So what you're looking for is an image, something similar to this, that just has a black silhouette mountain shape. Now it doesn't matter if it's got these watermarks on it, I'm going to show you how to get around that, and it doesn't matter if it's got something at the bottom of the image. So let's go ahead and copy and paste that into your document in whatever way your version of SketchBook works. There we go. Alright, so first off, let's just make sure it is on our screen and we can see it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to need to use our rectangle marquee selection tool. And I'm going to select the mountain that I like. So I kind of like this very first one at the top. So I'm just going to select that with my marquee. I've just missed the top, so I'm going to select it again. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is we're just going to make a copy of this. So Control C and Control V. And you'll notice in my layers, I now have that on a new layer. So I'm just going to eyeball or hide that layer so it's invisible for the moment. I still have it selected, so I'm going to deselect or Control D. Okay. So what I would like you to do, down here where it says background and our color is set to white, can we just hide that layer? And what you'll see here is now we've got this checkered. Now this checkered pattern in the background just refers to it being transparent. So this is empty space. What this allows for us to do is to see what is on our actual image. So you can see I've got this white area and I've got a little black at the bottom. So I want to remove that. So up here where I've got my select tool, I want to pick up my magic wand. I'm going to click on the white area of that background and I'm simply going to press delete or backspace. If you have a different version to SketchBook than what I do, the way that you'll need to delete that background is to select it. Then on your layer options, you can click on your layer. It'll open up a little text box here and then you just choose clear and then it will clear that white space. So if you've got a different version of SketchBook, that's how you do it via the layers. Okay, so I've still got this little bit of black tip here from my previous mountain, so I'm just going to grab my eraser tool and I'm just going to erase over that. Okay, so what I'm left with is just the silhouette of the mountain. So what I would recommend as being the easiest way to do this is to grab your select tool, make sure you're on the magic wand. I'm going to click in the area outside of the magic wand, and what you'll see is I've got these marching ants around the outside of my entire artwork and around the edge of my mountain silhouette. What this means is that I've got all of this space here currently selected. So if I go up to my selection options up here and choose the invert option, and the shortcut for that is Control Shift I to invert, and what you'll notice is that my marching ants are no longer around the outside, but they are in just around my mountain peak here. What I can do now is go to my paintbrush, make sure that I've got a very big paintbrush so it makes it easy for me to paint. I'm going to choose a light grey from my color wheel, and I'm going to simply paint over that mountain peak so that it is light grey. Okay, once you've done that, Control D to deselect from that selection. So let's bring back that white layer so we can now see what we're working with. Okay, so I have a light grey mountain peak silhouette. I now need to make sure that this mountain silhouette goes off the end on either side. So I'm going to select my quick transformation tool. I'm going to make sure I've got my move selected, and I'm going to use the middle section here. I'm going to click and drag to enlarge my mountain. Now, it will enlarge and stay proportionate. So if you don't want it to get too big and you only want it to drag out the sides, you can change to this option at the top and it will just stretch it from the edges. Okay? So you just need to make sure that it goes off the edge on either side. Once you're happy, just get rid of your quick select tool. Now, before we move on to our next silhouette, what we need to do is color in everything below that silhouette with the same color. To do that quickly, we're just going to use our bucket or our fill tool. I'm just going to click in that area below and fill it in grey. Okay, so you want that silhouette shape at the top and then extend the color to the bottom. So we're going to do that for the following lot of silhouettes. So let's go back to Google. The next silhouette I want you to get is a silhouette of a iconic building. Iconic building. Now, an iconic building just refers to a building that is very recognizable. Okay, so you'll notice here that we have things like the Eiffel Tower, Big Ben, pyramids, and so on. So I want you to choose one of that you like. So for this one, I'm going to choose, I know what I want to choose. I want to choose a Torii Gate. Has anyone seen a Torii Gate before? It is a Japanese gate that is often in water. So I like this little silhouette here of a Torii Gate, so I'm going to copy that and put it onto my document. Okay, I'm just going to reduce the size of that so I can see it on my screen. Okay, I'm going to do the same process. Okay, so I'm going to get my magic wand from my select option. I'm going to select the white and I'm going to hit delete. Now what you will realize is that I've got some areas that I have to individually select. Now there's two ways you can do this. You can select and delete as you go, or in your options up here you can have the add button. So I want to add to my selection. So I've got this currently selected, and if I select in there, it'll add that. It'll keep adding what I want to select to it. If you're on a different version of SketchBook, it might have a drop down and a plus option below it. So it's still there, it's just in a slightly different place to what I'm showing. Okay, and then we press delete to delete that area, and then Control D to deselect. Okay, I have this area at the bottom that I want to get rid of as well. So I use my marquee tool, I select that part of the image, and I delete to remove it, and then Control D. Remember, if you're on a different version and you can't press delete to get rid of that, you click on your layer, a box will open up here, and you choose clear. Okay, so now I'm left with my Torii Gate, and I want it to be a slightly darker grey than I've done my mountain. So again, I'm going to use my magic wand. I'm going to select in the background, and I'm going to then press invert. So I'm selecting this area. Okay, I want to also select this area so that I don't paint inside there. I still have my plus selection option open. I will need to change to my minus. I want to remove that from my selection there. Okay, so now I have just that silhouette. So I'm going to go to my color puck. I'm going to choose a grey that is slightly darker. Click here, slightly darker, a little bit darker than that. Okay, and then I'm going to brush over that iconic building. Control D to deselect. Quick select tool. I'm going to reduce the size slightly. I'm going to choose to move it over to the side, just so it's off center. I'm going to press enter. So I have to do the same thing. I want to extend that dark grey lower down. Because I don't have an edge to bucket fill, I will need to simply brush across. Now you could be creative. This is a landscape. It doesn't have to be dead straight. It can be organic. So I'm just going to draw a very organic edge, and I'm just going to fill into the bottom. Okay. Now I'm feeling like I'm not going to have enough room at the bottom, so I'm going to use my quick select tool again. I'm just going to reduce the size, and I'm just going to move it up, just so I've got a little bit more room at the bottom here to play around with. Now that I've done that, I just need to make sure that I go back and fill in the area that is now exposed. Okay, so now you've got the idea. We're going to do the same thing, and we're going to add a layer of trees. We're going to make that slightly darker than the grey that we currently have. And then at the very end, I'm going to add a layer of that has an animal with some grass, and that layer will be black. So to make this tutorial a little bit quicker, I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to speed it up for you in the edit area. Okay, and there you have it. So as you go, you create your layers going from the back forward, you go from light to dark. The reason we do that is because of atmospheric perspective. So those things that are further away from us always appear lighter, and as they come closer to us, they start to appear darker. Okay, And then we make sure that we extend that color down. The reason being is that we come down into our next layer so we can overlap as we go. So try to have more than, say, 2 to 3 layers. So mountain, building, trees, and then animal with a grass is a really good composition. And from there you can start to add even more layers, more shades of black to greys, and be really, really creative. Alright guys, look forward to seeing what you create.